Hey, this is Tony of Culinary Seasons, and today we're exploring the source with Southern Oregon Sourdough. Miwa came to the United States from Japan to pursue her dream to become a commercial pilot. After 25 years of flying, Miwa has stepped away from aviation to raise her family, and in doing so, has created Southern Oregon Sourdough. She makes artisan, organic, hearty loaves that are fresh out of her oven. Her sourdough is amazing. Miwa really cares about the quality of her bread, and it shows in every loaf. Through her travels in aviation, she's been able to experience cultures that have given her inspiration to inspire her amazing bread. Let's hear from Miwa herself.
I'm from Japan, and I came to this country when I was 18. And back then, we didn't have a female Japanese pilot in Japan. So I had no way to become a pilot in Japan. So my grandpa, he was in the politics, and he somehow found out the big number, like there's a 2,130 female pilots in America. And then that was like 1994. And I was like, what? Like it was like totally like eye-opening moment for me. I was 16 or 17. And so I didn't speak English, but my grandpa said, if you want to become a pilot, go to States, you go to America. And I was like, I don't speak English and I don't want to go there. And he was like, but if you want to accomplish something you really want, that's just part of the process you need to accomplish. And speaking English, it's not gonna, stop you to become who you are. So he sent me here. And I studied English first because I didn't speak English.
Did you study English there?
As a public school, we learn how to read and write, but we don't practice how to speak.
Okay.
And now they practice. My kids' generation, they do practice in the public school. But so I didn't know how to speak, but I was able to read it, like textbook or something like that. But the speaking was hard, and I practiced English. And then I went to the school in outside of Seattle, studied the aviation, and I made my dream come true to become an airline pilot. And I did different kind of jobs throughout my career. I flew like 25 years now. And recently, my husband is also a pilot as well for the major airline. So he fly long distance, the Europe, Asia. And it was very hard for us to raise two kids with two pilots in the household. And when I come home, he leaves. When he come home, I leave, that kind of stuff. You know how that works. And it was kind of hard for the marriage, hard for the family, how to manage that whole entire, juggling the household. So we start talking, and somehow, once you become a mother, your heart wasn't there in a career anymore. It was so hard for me to understand that because I was so gung-ho, career-oriented female, when I was single. But once I had a baby, all of a sudden, I'm not going back to work for a while. Anyway, so that's when we decided that I want to stay home for a little bit and he go to work. Surprisingly, that make very healthy household, and I stay home mom for first time for a long time. And then I had another babies, and when I had another baby, I decided to leave the airline for good and become a private jet pilot here in the Medford airport. But it didn't really make sense to us to keep working like that kind of lifestyle. So then, same time, I was like, as I said, my customer or my friends and a neighbor start asking me more and more breads and other cookie stuff. So I started like, maybe I can stay home mom and I can do this a little bit side job, it's just for fun. That way I have some kind of accomplishment besides motherhood. And that's how this, baking started. And then, so I thought, sourdough could be piece of cake for me as well, because I've been baking so long that I never thought that how hard it was until we moved here from Seattle, and my husband and we are looking for good bread, and then we couldn't really find the bread that we like. Mm-hmm. And Seattle, they have so many French bakeries out there, and then we used to go there and grab a couple bread and just didn't think about anything. And we travel so much in Europe, and we know how good bread is. Right. And my husband was like, can you bake one? I mean, you're good at baking. Can you bake bread? And then I was like, sure, why not? So I thought just like that, right? It was so hard. I failed close to 6 to probably up to 8 months. Like I couldn't really, there's no way to sell or give away as a gift. My bread was, that was like 8 years ago. And once again, I don't have a chemistry background, anything behind it, but I learned from my experience that that's how things works. And I was like, very interesting, Yeah. Then after that, my bread became so big center of topic in my family that because how good it is. And then my husband really enjoyed it, and I started giving to my friends and the family and the neighbors, and everybody would start asking me more. And they start telling me, my friend at the hospital wants to buy your bread, and then there's, next thing another, a lot of people start ordering my bread, and then I really start enjoying expanding. I usually bake like 20 to 25 loaves a day. This is all like self-taught baking skill. So a lot of people related to me because I made so much mistake throughout my baking career because I don't have a formal training. And baking is like all about the chemistry, like, not like a cooking. Cooking, you can get away with a little bit more like how you feel, how you taste. Yeah. But baking is like a lot of like chemistry, moisture contents, and like contents of how much flour percentage in hydration, those kind of stuff. So those are very new to me, So I've been baking like 8 years, but it just sometimes rainy day, I make a mistake because hydration is like totally off, or humidity.
Humidity, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, do you have different patterns you score on?
Yes,
breads?
I do. I have like 4 or 5 different, and also I do like to the customer who want to do like a personalized gift, and I do wedding venue and make like a nice heart figure for the weddings. 1 hour. Yeah. But if you use the Dutch oven, the springs, because they will keep the moisture content very.
Now that the bread's in the oven, Miwa gives some insight to the learning curve she had to overcome to get to where she's at with her bread baking skills. Let's check it out.
One of the big mistakes I made, I believe, is I used somebody else's starter. I'm talking about somebody else means some different region. I used San Francisco starter, and I got it and then tried to, revive it. And climate in San Francisco is totally different from Southern Oregon. They have a fog, they have a moisture, they have about a 60 to 70 degree temperature all year long. And here, and it's more like a Mediterranean climate. In the morning it's cold, at night it's cold, but during the daytime we get 100 degrees. So learning how to manage the sourdough starter from somebody else was totally like, it didn't work here in my kitchen. So I stopped using somebody else's starter, and I was like, it's a living creature, so why don't I correct the, cut it from this air? And that's the turning point for me. Once I made my starter in this kitchen, they strive so well. They're so strong, and a lot of sourdough snobs we name our own starter because we treat them like a pet. My rain, it's a unbleached white flour, and this is whole wheat, and I name her Rainbow. Nice. Or him. I have to feed them twice a day.
Oh wow!
And then check on them how they're doing.
I've never been a great bread baker. I can bake other things, but bread I've never been
totally
great at because it's different.
Yes,
it's totally different.
Thank you for understanding. Yeah, it's different.
It's definitely different.
I don't have like special equipment, as like a commercial kitchens. I don't have a proofer, and I don't have any commercial oven. So I teach classes here.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I do teach classes, group lesson here, and exactly what I do. So a lot of people kind of like appreciated all the stories that I tell them because I'm just like them. Like, I only have what I have.
Yeah.
So I show them, you don't need a special tool. I mean, I thought I need it, but as I say, I practice, made a mistake, and I make it make it work.
Mhm.
So I know exactly how to make a good bread, what we have in a kitchen for ordinary house.
Yeah.
So this is my kind of like sales pitch for my classes because a lot of people come to learn from me, and especially from me because they think that if I can do it, they can do it kind of attitude,
Yeah. Yeah.
And I tell them like what to be caution about baking bread at homes, and like there's a time, like as I said before, like humidities, temperatures, you have to kind of monitor it.
Yeah.
I love baking because I travel all over the world, and every time I go to remote area or small village, all grandmas and aunties and everybody baking just on the street, outside of the house. And two things, my travel experience, I realized that on a modern Western society, we pre-pack, we do use a lot of plastic, we make a fancy, we put the labels, um, stickers on the product. To me, it's so not necessary. I mean, it looks pretty and fancy, but I'm trying to stick with the idea of what's most important. Flavor? I think so. I think the flavor is most important, not the cosmetic.
Yeah.
So when I prefer to stick with the kind of like a rustic countryside, simple loaf,
Yeah.
use a good ingredients. As I say, I went to Nepal. I talked to you in the morning. Nepali people in the mountain, they use a buckwheat to make breads and those kind of stuff. The flavor that I never ever experienced in my life, so good, right? So they put a lot of like labors and love into those like ingredients. And so when I come back to here, I start thinking about how different mind behind it. Each country has a bakers and then cook chef but background is so different. But the simpleness is a most, I think, beauty because my bread is organic ingredients only. And of course, the reason is flavor. Flavor, not just for the health purpose. The flavor is totally different. So definitely, bleach white flowers is out of my house because if you taste it, just simple flour, if you taste it and then you taste the bleached flowers, unbleached white flour, whole wheat, organic whole wheat, if you do the palate testing, if you're a baker, you can tell how different it is. I come to the conclusion that I use a very, very high quality of flours. That's why my bread tastes good. So it's not because I'm good at the baking.
Sure.
I'm sure that the ingredients, whoever the farmers making this beautiful wheat, give me a lot of confidence in my bread. I bake what I want to eat. Once you taste that bread, you cannot go back.
You're right, because once I had it, I've been craving it ever since.
Yes, you cannot go back.
And you have a good following.
Yes, amazing customers. So I want people to experience, when they come here, this is what I do. I'm open it over like this, and I welcome them to the kitchen, and then I'll give it to them right off these loaves. So nothing better than this, the fresh out of oven. And a lot of customers are like, can I cut it now? Can you cut it? Because I want to eat it in the car. And I say, first of all, it's super hot and it's still cooking inside. If you cut it, like steam comes out and it's gooey. So let it cool down a little bit. But it's funny that some people are eat it, and then halfway through the house, they call me, say, I want to order another one tomorrow. It's a very big compliment for me. So that's exactly the service that I like to provide. Nice. Because if I were a customer, nothing better than the fresh bread, And I truly feel blessing. And as I said, I'm a people pleaser. So as long as people, looking for my bread, I like to keep, baking the breads. And then could be it's small, keep it small, and it could be, keep it much more smaller than what I do right now. But that's okay because this is all my own satisfactions. I'm doing this for me to please my friends and the customers, and that's all I wanted. So.
Yeah. I want to thank Miwa at Southern Oregon Sourdough for showing us behind the scenes and what it takes to make her artisan bread. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and now on Pinterest. Find more Exploring the Source videos at culinaryseasons.com and on YouTube. Thanks for watching.